Thanks for joining us on the program today, everyone. From rising foreign reserves to falling inflation, how real is Nigeria's economic recovery? And in Anambra, why is a former ABGA heavyweight now back in APC's push to unseat Soludo? It's a night of numbers, politics, and power moves. If you blink, you'll miss it. Let's begin with the economy. Inflation is easing, the naira is more stable, and for the first time in a long time, our foreign reserves are rising steadily, now over $38 billion. But for many Nigerians, the economy still feels like a tightening noose. Food prices are high, borrowing costs are crippling, and small businesses are struggling to stay afloat. So the big question tonight is, are we just seeing good numbers on paper, or is there a real turnaround happening beneath the surface? Tonight, we go beyond the headlines with someone who should know. He sits right at the center of Nigeria's economic planning and oversight. Honorable Boyega Nasser Isiaka is now Chairman, House Committee on National Planning and Economic Development. He joins us for the full picture. We'll talk inflation, interest rates, foreign investment, job creation, and what his committee is doing to hold the executive to account. Thanks for joining us on the program, Honorable. Let's begin with the foreign reserves. We understand the numbers are climbing, but critics still say this doesn't reflect real resilience unless it's backed by sustainable external earnings. How do you assess the quality of export earnings and foreign investment inflows and what they really mean for Nigerians today?
Well, thank you very much. Definitely, people can look at it from different angles. If we have not had the kind of results that we have, maybe when they know the impact that it will have had on the exchange rate, it will have been easier for them to understand. What I do know is that within the space of this last 18 months, after the initial massive devaluation, exchange rate has stabilized, foreign reserve is increasing, inflation is being put under control, and the stability in the foreign exchange has also helped a lot planning by both the private sector and the public sector and the foreign investors. And I think this is reflected in the rebased GDP that was released by the Bureau of Statistics some 2 months. About 2 weeks ago, that put the national economy at about 372 trillion naira, with a growth of about 3%. All of these are the things that we need to have in order for us to begin to have the higher growth that we have. Yes, a 3% growth is not the kind of growth that, we do need more than that because our population almost grows almost at the same rate. But the truth of the matter is that when we know where we are coming from and when we know what has happened to our economy lately, we will give kudos to this government and to this administration that, we have put a halt to those downward, trend that we had at the initial stage. And I think things are getting better. So my answer, straightforward, is to say that we have every reason to believe that things can only get better. The results are getting better. There's a lot of stability now in the exchange rate. It can only grow better than this. I so believe. And even the inflation, it grew as high as about something percent, some time ago. And when you talk about interest rate, again, you also mentioned that. You also discovered that in the last two meetings of the Monetary Policy Committee of the CBN, they have retained the rate at it is. I think at about 20 something percent, MPR. So so that also gives us the level of stability that we also want in interest rates. We cannot see all of this reflected in our life all of a sudden. It takes us so long to get to where we got to. So it also took a bit. What we need to have is resilience, courage to take the tough decisions, resilience, and also confidence in the administration. I think that's where I would like to put it.
We hear these numbers often on the news. While inflation eased to 22.22% in June, Nigerians are still bracing under double-digit price hikes. So they are asking questions like, what really are the concrete policy measures beyond rate hikes that are being implemented to arrest food inflation and lower cost basics, and exactly when can they begin to
what
feel
needs to be done
the micro
is to do some direct,
benefits?
involvement by the government, and you can see a lot of that going on. You can see, for instance, Nel Fund. You can see, for instance, there was even one that was released, some time ago. I think last week, which they're going to, involve, directly at the world level. You can see, a lot of empowerment being done both at the legislative level and even by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. We need those direct, intervention by government. I think it's been done. At the last count, over 500,000, students are enjoying the Nel Fund, loan, for example. And we also see that in other sectors. So we need to do that because of the vulnerable, sectors in the economy. But on the rates and the impact on the inflation, it will definitely take a bit of time. There's usually a lag time between when policies are introduced and when we begin to feel those policies. And there's nothing anybody can do about that. It's like that everywhere in the world, and our ours cannot be an exception. So one thing we have to all agree, in my view, is the fact that the right steps have been taken. Now that these right steps have been taken, we will continue to find a way to reduce the impact on the vulnerables, if I can use that word, while we now expect the economy was the GDP grew at about 3.4 in this last first quarter. We are expecting it to grow better, further. But don't forget that the projection of government is $1 trillion economy by 2030. I think that is still achievable, but it will take us to start, with the way we have started. While, like I said, we continue to look for government at all levels, not only at the federal level, both at the state level and the local government level. We continue to find a way to do direct intervention for the vulnerable, so that we can reduce the impact on them. There's nothing much we can do, about this impact. We will have them, but we can just continue to find a way to impact it until it still stabilizes, and then everybody can take off from there. So that is the way I see it. The numbers are real. The Bureau of Statistics have explained many times how they arrive at the figures. We cannot see the impacts on these things all of a sudden. It will happen over time. But in the meantime, we have to find a way to continue to intervene so that the impact on the people can continue to be better.